it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching The Queen's Gambit Season 1, Episode 4, Middle Game. Thank you so much, Natasha, for sponsoring this show. I can't wait to see what Beth's up to next and how this first big defeat is going to shake her going forwards. Let's go. Just how much older than you are these boys, sweetheart?
What are you doing?
Continuing to spiral.
Thanks.
You should probably go home.
Say you're partying with college students?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, at least she told her,
Just
you
be careful
know.
what you smoke, honey.
Okay.
See you in the morning.
This is, I mean, again, I don't think completely controlling your children and being like, locking you up, you can't do anything ever, isn't necessarily the right answer, but I don't think this is the right answer either. Maybe you should clarify how old she is, sir. It's not as magical as it could be, but, you know. There's no rush for anything. Making herself at home. I don't know that this is what they meant by stay as long as you like. Beth. This is self-destructive behaviour.
Are you with a boy?
I was last night.
Wearing jeans and everything, that's something totally new for her, isn't it?
Well, chess isn't the only thing in life.
They do have a good
It's just-
relationship, it's just a
I won't
somewhat
get
unhealthy
pregnant.
one. Beth, what are you doing? Oh, and your kid?
Paris?
They invited me.
Paris?
I like that, like, they have a good relationship, you know, there is genuine affection and caring and loving each other here. There's also a lot of very unhealthy things, but if you just, it's realistic in a lot of ways, I suppose.
What are you reading about?
Pawn structure analysis.
Sounds exciting.
It is.
It is to Beth.
Beth?
Have you ever met him before?
Never. I have to say, I am really quite thrilled.
Good for you. As long as he's not a serial killer
Is he the
secretly.
reason that you wanted to come to Mexico early?
She deserves to be happy. She's still drinking though. One thing I'm intrigued about is how old Beth is at this point, because obviously she graduated high school, which makes you think she's 18. But then when she joined, like, went to her foster family, they were like, yeah, you're 13. Did she at some point say, I'm actually 15? And has she been living as 2 years younger this whole time?
Such a beautiful day.
It's been raining the last 2 days.
Has it? I hadn't noticed.
Like a teenager in
The
love.
tournament starts.
You know, perhaps, Beth, you have to work on yourself. Chess is not all there is.
I mean, that's true,
I
but
know.
the day
Well, my
before the
experience has
tournament
taught me
isn't the
that
best
what you know is
time.
not always what's important. I've noticed the moves they applaud the loudest are the ones you make rather quickly. And there's a certain look on your face.
It's true, but it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt to study the
Intuition
books.
can't be found in. I haven't the remotest idea what faculties a person needs in order to play chess well, but I am convinced that relaxation can only improve them.
Yeah, no, this is hell. We're going for a walk in the rain.
We've got so much anger in you. You'll have to be careful.
Therapy would have been a really good bet.
Cerveza?
I don't know if that's like the Russian dude or just someone she recognises as a great chess player or something. He didn't sound like he was speaking English, but he could be speaking any language. So 0 attempt to come in quietly and not disturb Beth if she was asleep. I see how it is.
17 años de Lexington, Kentucky, Elizabeth Harmon.
Like, is she actually 17 or is she 19?
Neither of us spoke the other's.
Nice to see her happy, I'm just worried about where it's gonna end.
Enfrentándose a una presión implacable en el tablero.
She demolished this man, look at his face.
Los talones desde el principio. precisión letal que lo dejó sin opciones en
She's
la
not, you know, she's ruthless. She doesn't take pity on her opponents.
Esta joven.
How long will he be gone?
At least until we leave.
I'm sorry.
I've never been to Oaxaca, but I imagine it resembles Denver.
Good afternoon.
A prodigy. She herself has been a prodigy.
I'm honored.
Oh no, I'm stressed that this kid's gonna be her and she's not gonna make it to Borgov. Oh, this is a quick match. You've got this, Beth. God, they're both, like, neither of them are thinking. She's not looking great.
I would dig that.
He's a sweet kid. You were the young prodigy ruining adults' lives once too, sweetheart, and you will be it forever. That will never get taken from you. Beth. Mind games. Beth, you're better than this. He's a sweet kid.
But you won't let the next one that tries it.
Exactly.
How old were you when you started playing chess?
She gets stage fright, doesn't she? They have a strange relationship, but they do care. I'm glad to see her smiling again on something that she's doing for herself. No one else is involved, just she is playing the piano and loving it.
This is Elizabeth Harmon.
Oof.
Let's eat in the room.
I love this. But you know, she knows that this is a time when she needs to get serious and focused. I'm guessing she'll lose this match because she's having a big match against him in the flash forward, isn't she? And also it's probably a bit daunting the very first time you come across someone that you've put this much stock into.
Сели в Париже, прежде чем она станет слишком сильной.
Jesus.
Говорят, она выпивает. В любой игре она идет в атаку и часто оставляет тылы неприкрытыми.
She will defeat you. She does also really need to, you know, jump forward in time and get some real therapy to help her with her issues. Oh, Beth. She should say something to him in Russian, or they maybe don't reveal that you have that power. Okay. I think he's probably going to beat her here, but not because she's not good enough to beat him, just because that is the way it goes sometimes, and maybe she's not quite there yet, partly because this is kind of a daunting first meeting and everything, and she's put so much stock into beating him, but also because the game in Paris that we started with was against him, wasn't it? But I want her to win.
Ojo, que a Borgov la ha nombrado el máster de la siciliana. Así que vamos a ver
I love all the
cómo sigue.
tactics and how much she's not gonna feel up to going down today. They both need therapy. As always, getting to the final of any of these competitions is still freaking amazing. But it never feels that way when you're in the competition. Her mum's not here.
Borgov's not a machine.
That you know of.
She's the closest thing to one. You will beat him one day. Even if today is not that day. And her mum's not here. One of the most important moments of Beth's life. You have to stumble in order to get back up again. It's okay.
I couldn't fight this feeling that I'd already lost.
That's
Like,
part of his mythos
in the
as
books.
well. His
Where you know the outcome, but you play it out just to see how it would happen, and
that's,
mean,
again, part of his power
every
is that he's
move
able
he
to make
made
you
was
think
so-
that.
I'm so glad you didn't see it.
Is she dead? Holy shit. Oh my god, did she overdose? Fucking hell. Beth does not need any more tragedy in her life. Oh, Beth. The world failed them both.
I'm sorry. Again, I'm very sorry for your loss.
She's all alone in the world again. She shouldn't be alone in the world, and just everything she's been through. I mean, her first, her family, whatever happened with her father, and then her mother killed herself and almost killed Beth with her. And then, in a lot of ways, her new mum, I can't remember her name, she's awful, sort of let herself die by just giving up in a lot of ways. I mean, if it was hepatitis, which really was an illness, and she didn't let herself die. I don't mean it in that sense, but I do mean kind of in general. While, yes, having Beth and loving Beth gave her another lease of life, she just kept drinking, and God, it's almost like that when she felt better and she was playing the piano was kind of like they say when people have a terminal illness, before the end they get a burst of life.
How is Alma? Is she there with you?
She's dead.
She's dead.
She died this morning.
Handle this for me. I can't be going off to Mexico.
She's a child,
There's
but
an
sure.
autopsy in the morning, and I have to.
You need money?
I don't know. I don't know how much it'll cost.
I heard
She's
you
a
doing
child.
Child prodigy thing. Can't you charge her or something?
This poor girl, so alone in the world. Because even when she was with her mother, she was still kind of alone, but I think they were starting to get to a place where Beth didn't feel that way. And are any of the people she's vaguely friendly with, like the two brothers, anyone that could stay and help her? The last time she was on a plane, her mum was so giddy and she was so excited about the idea of going to Paris, and she's just gonna spiral, isn't she?
Mass.
So I was not expecting the ending. I mean, when Beth kept talking and there was no response, not even like breathing or sighing or anything, TV shows like to have that moment where the characters comes in and they're talking away and then they suddenly look and they realize Beth's dead, and I was thinking, oh god, that's what's happening. Poor Beth. I mean, with the beginning of the episode, we kind of saw Beth living a little bit. Again, not necessarily living in the healthiest of ways, and if she was, obviously she was a normal teenager, if she was a child teenager who had no previous history of addiction, I wouldn't be that fussed about her, smoking some weed or whatever. It's not that big a deal. But knowing Beth's addiction problems that she already has, it's just a really unhealthy sign to kind of see her falling down this path. And the only example she's ever had in her life of adults have more or less been people that either gave her pills or ended up addicted themselves. It was kind of nice to see her let loose and live a little bit, especially if she's potentially 19 and not 17. But it breaks my heart in general knowing that she's just going to get more and more dependent on these pills, and that even when she's at the top of everything, like, yes, she didn't win, yes, she kind of was forced to draw the co-champion of the Open, not the individual champion. At the end of the day, she's at the top of her game, she's famous in her world, she should be riding high, and it is so much the case that you never know what's going on behind closed doors and in people's lives. And there are still people today who can be at the height of success and be having these exact same struggles, but you kind of think nowadays she'd probably be seeing some kind of a therapist. She might, if she got a good one, if she got lucky, if she actually opened herself up to the treatment, maybe she could get someone to help her. And I don't exactly expect therapy in the 60s, 50s was any good, or at least nowadays people struggle with doing it, yet alone then. It's just really hard to watch her knowing that she's going to keep spiraling. And obviously she's got the match in Paris with Borgov. I don't know how many years in the future, and we know that she's had quite a big night when she wakes up and is almost late to that match, which definitely has always been a sign that things were not going to end well. And her relationship with her mother was a complicated one. On the whole, I think it was a good thing. She had a person in her life who believed in her, who supported her, who was there for her, who was proud of her, most importantly. And yes, a little bit of it, she was using her for money or whatever, and I don't like that the chess tournaments are so tied into how much money they can earn, but at the same time making money. We live in a capitalist society, and they did back then, where you have to have money and it is not always easy to get it. So I do understand that. And obviously it was hard to kind of see her mother with her drinking problems and everything, and to see Beth going the same way and knowing that nothing was being done to stop it or to help her. But also her mother needed therapy as well. And yeah, for Beth to be a child, whether she's 17 or 19, she is a child, once again orphaned, because that man who is her technical father, he's a piece of shit. He's living his life in Denver. Now, yeah, I feel if, you know, the loss of a child destroyed him, that is no excuse to just abandon your family cold. Absolutely no excuse. To abandon your wife, whatever, to adopt a child that you know you're just going to abandon. Like, he is a piece of shit. I do not feel sorry for him. And even the way he was like, oh, can you just handle it all for me, child, that I, you know, he knew his wife was a mess. He knew his wife was dealing with, I mean, I don't think he would have articulated it in this way, but he knew his wife was having mental health problems and was drinking too much. And he thought a 13-year-old child is exactly what will do the trick there. I don't like men. In some ways, it's nice that he like gave her information that could help, but it was very much like he should be like, I'll call the bank. I'll call the funeral home. I'll make the arrangements. You just get yourself home. I'll organise the ticket. That's what a responsible adult would do in that situation to a clearly traumatized child. But instead, he's just like, oh, here's the basic information. You deal with it all. One thing I liked in this episode was seeing Beth hanging out with the two brothers, because there was no, that I could tell, there was no weirdness with them making moves on her or whatever. They just viewed her as that's that girl, but we know that she's amazing at chess, and they were just hanging out together, and that was just kind of friendship, and I really liked that. For Beth, she's once again completely alone in the world, and what she overheard in the lift, that they wanted to destroy her, but also I hear she's a drunk and she's an orphan, and so she can't lose because what else is there? That would demoralize you a lot. We saw her playing mind games of her own against the child, but at the end of the day, as I said in the previous episode, sometimes you need to lose to get better. I don't think she needed to lose and then lose her mother, but I wonder what this is going to do to Beth going forwards. Is she going to have more of an attitude of I've got to live life because you never know when it's going to end? Is she going to throw herself fully into chess? Is she going to be like, there is no life, there is only chess? I mean, especially if she's expected to keep up mortgage payments. Yes, child that's literally just graduated high school, make up the mortgage payments, why don't you? I'm very worried about her. I think she's going to be feeling very isolated, and in a lot of ways she's extremely vulnerable, both to herself and her own demons and to other people maybe taking advantage of her, though again, I'm not mean like she's weak or useless, just she's in a very vulnerable place right now. It was good to see her so confident at the beginning of the tournament, to see her have a real struggle but figure out a way through it, even if it was mind games, and then coming up against the great Borgov. And I think, yes, there's a chance that one day somebody will face the greatest person in their sport and beat them, but at the end of the day, it is such a huge deal to be facing him in the first place, let alone being able to bring your A game. So this was a very good episode. I am devastated for Beth at the end of it. Completely alone again. You know, the one thing that even if I didn't think her relationship with her mother was entirely healthy, it was at least a person, an adult in her life who cared and was there for her, and now that is gone. So yeah, that's pretty devastating. Thank you so much, Natasha, for sponsoring, and thank you for watching.